Right. The joys of getting streams set up, isn't it?
Can you still hear me now?
I can. Okay, so we are now live, guys. Friday, mid October. We're back here again. Looking forward to obviously helping you guys out a little bit as well. Obviously with the news that we've gone into the tier 3 lockdown today, which is unfortunate, but is obviously the government feel that it's needed. So fingers crossed that works. We'll have a little chat about what we think we can do to try and help during that time as well. So back here again is Matt Howard, obviously. Usual crowd, and I suppose, Howard, shall we start with you down there in Preston today, mate? How are you?
Yeah, personally, not so bad. I think we all knew this was coming, this tier 3. Bit strange, don't know if I agree with it, personal point of view, but we are where we are. Yeah, bit strange. So at least it doesn't start today. I can never get myself over that, why it has to start at a certain time, so 12 o'clock tomorrow night. I mean, just locally, I'll tell you actually, there was nothing about property, but just a bit of general gossip about the area. There was a local bar, the Lion Bar in Pemberton, that shut down for a couple of weeks due to a couple of members of staff getting this COVID-19. So what they did was they closed it down, very responsible, deep cleaned it, got everything ready to open, and opened again last night. Only to be told now that obviously at 12 o'clock tomorrow night, or 10 o'clock, the pub's closed, they're going to have to close the doors. I was looking on their website early on today, and they said they will try and keep things open, but just serve meals, which apparently you can do. And on that note as well, there's a pub now that the guy actually runs it. He actually went to school with myself a long time ago. You lads, I don't know if you lads were fully born then. Definitely Matthew wasn't. Anyway, the Black Bull in Pemberton, great little booze at the bottom there. That shut its doors the other night, and believe it or not, it's not opening until February of next year, or it's actually said in small print, or until there's a vaccine.
Wow.
Whichever comes first, I think, or whichever comes first. February's going to come before there's a vaccine. I'm pretty damn sure of it. But on the housing front, to be perfectly honest, I just think it's been phenomenal. Definitely, the amount of sales that are taking place, and that's obviously down to the stamp duty, and that's had a massive impact on it. I was reading this morning, I've got the figures here in front of me, that in last month, so in September, there was 1,750 applications, going through, and 1,500 exchanges. And these are families, without a shadow of a doubt, taking advantage of this stamp duty holiday. And apparently it was up a fifth, so 20% up over August, and 40% up to September of last year.
Wow.
So I just think there's been a massive surge in people taking advantage of this stamp duty, and obviously we've done a bit of a social media thread that's going out there to help people as well, and what they can do to obviously get the houses on the market and get things moving. Obviously there's ways to get yourself in a quick move ready by maybe potentially, what we say, research said about 5 weeks, it speeds up the process, is it? If you can maybe fill out the legal forms and even potentially get the your searches put in order. So if people can do that, because I think with this massive uplift in sales that are going through, staying on the positive, it does take time for sales to go through. What do we say, 3-4 months on average, 12 to 16 weeks. And with this massive surge, I think it's just going to delay things even better. I was talking to a surveyor only this morning, and he said as well, he's filling everything in that day, and he's got to get the report off the very same day, whereas previously they could delay it 2 or 3 days, they could look for comparables, had more time to send it off. So they're getting put under pressure. So really what a good point, Kev, is for people out there, if you're watching, is now's a good time to get yourself a buyer, because you don't want to miss out on taking advantage of this stamp duty holiday. So that's on that. I haven't really got any highlighted news for people who are famous in the Preston, Lancashire area, but just outside in Liverpool, funny, just outside, isn't it? They're filming the new Batman movie, and believe it or not, even because they went into tier 3, they're still filming it. They're actually still filming, and it's got Robert Pattinson who's out one of these vampire slayer things, I think. I can't remember his name. And Colin Farrell. Now, apparently that Colin Farrell, Kev, he's that made up. His accent's a penguin. You wouldn't know it was him. And he hasn't even got an Irish accent. But a little bit of news just on. Hey, what, mate?
I say, well, we'll have to have a look for that. Well, I'm surprised it's still going ahead.
Honestly, it's even on Sky News. It's telling you all about it in Liverpool. Last little bit of news. Back to Ford. There's I seem to find. In fact, I've got another bit of news as well. They seem to find these little bit of these resurfacing roads that they seem to be getting done. So they are getting King's Drive, which runs between Garstang Road and Blackpool Lane in Ford. They have started it in all the beginning of the month, and they put some diversions down Regent's Drive. But because of the massive potholes down there, because people use it, Kev, as a shortcut going through and nipping back to the hospital. So they're resurfacing that. Yeah, there is a bit of news actually. Right. So Lydiate Lane, Leyland, Bamber Bridge area. Right. I went past yesterday. I didn't have time to turn and look, but there's some land being sold there for building plots. So I don't know who's bought it. If anyone's watching this out there and you know who's going to be building houses there, drop me a line with you, let me know, because I don't know much about that. And on the way to Southport, Banks, that way Marebrow, there used to be an old filling station, petrol station, and they turned it into selling breakfasts and lunches and so forth. I've been there myself many a Sunday morning when I've been driven there on a steak to have a greasy breakfast years and years ago. Now that's been bought, and the building houses there, and it's Bella Homes. So again, if you know any more information about that, drop me a line. So yeah, we're in the lockdown. TFC, we've just got to keep positive care. We don't know what's going to happen with the market, as you guys will probably allude to in a second. But it is what it is. We've just got to make do, haven't we?
It is. You're right. I think we'll see over the next few days, probably start of next week, as to what's going to happen. Whether that'll affect anything that we do as estate agents, or people selling houses, buying houses, letting them, renting, whatever it may be. It's we're a bit unsure as to what's going to happen with that at the moment. However, there are certain things we can do, aren't there? So, to help out.
I think you're right, Kevin. Obviously, we'll come on to it later on, but all I can say is the last time when we had the major lockdown, and I think it could be very much the same, is it's a good job that we do, talking personal about Lancaster, it's a good job we do what we do in terms of, the way we did conducted 360 videos and stuff. And I know you'll probably come on to that later on, but...
I'll mention it now, if you haven't got a virtual tour or a video tour or anything that will allow somebody to look at your house from the comfort of their own home 24 hours a day, you need to be speaking to your agent to get that sorted ASAP, because they might not shut it down, and hopefully don't, because the housing market is a massive income for the government. And it drives a lot of other stuff, drives the economy. What was it saying? Is it 20-30% of the whole economy is based purely on the housing market, something like that? Reading the other day.
It is, yeah.
And so it is huge. So hopefully they won't stop it, but you need to be prepared if they do stop it. And the only way to do that is, you can still get it done, is to make sure you've got one of those things on your property. Obviously, we make sure that happens on the mall. There are agents out there which probably don't, so speak to them. Speak to your agent, get it done. That's all we can say. Make sure.
Yeah, especially if people want to take advantage of that stamp duty. Being held back until the end of March next year. What you don't want to do is be hanging around, waiting around, because as I alluded to before, you've got to really get a sale kind of imminently. The time is the essence. So so speak to your estate agent, give them a call, see what they can do to help you.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cheers, Howard. How's Lancaster and Morecambe, Matt? How are we getting on there?
Well, it's been an extremely busy week. This week just gone. Of course, we're talking about this third tier thing coming into Lancashire as a whole. It's unfortunate news, but as we said at the beginning, as Lancastrians, we've got to kind of keep moving forward with that and understand that obviously everything's done for a reason. And as Howard and Kevin before rightly said, we've got the technology going forward with that. But I wanted to kind of bring a bit of positive light to this, and obviously with the major lockdown, which Howard originally talked about, and obviously we're going into this tier 3 now. Now I know that London's been escalated in the greater area to 2, but I was doing a bit of research, and according to Rightmove, seaside resorts and small villages in the countryside and smaller cities have seen the biggest rise in sales as people sought more space during a lockdown. The desire to move to the country has turned into a trend rather than a short-term shift. Now that's direct from Rightmove. Back in May, when the market opened back up, we saw a massive boom. Now we've got, from me, even Preston there, and where we are in Lancaster and Morecambe, we've got everything here, which is great. We've got to think positive about this, guys, and be positive with what's going on because, should we go into this, obviously, this tier 3 lockdown and things get a bit more severe, things can only, in my opinion, pick back up again after that. Obviously, we don't know how it's going to affect us as estate agents at the moment. I'm hoping that everything will be fine. We can still continue to do our job. However, we are in the most demanded area. We've got the seaside here. We've got villages nearby. You've got all the semi-rural villages like Caton, Halton, Brookhouse, going out Hesbank, Baltney Sands Way. Lovely spots going into the countryside. And, we've got Lancaster's such a small city, but it's got, it's a major hub. You've got the M6 there, you've got the train station there. And I must say the amount of influx of buyers coming to this area from down south has been massive. I've met loads of people looking in this area, even people coming from abroad, because we're also the gateway to the lakes is a big selling point. You're not paying lake prices, but you're going there, which is great. It's good to see, especially national statistics from Rightmove saying that our area's sought after. But I also thought, with the depressing news of today, I know it's not, obviously it is depressing that we're going into a higher lockdown and things are still going on, and it's hard for you guys to all find something to do. So I thought I'd just give a bit of local news. The Arts Centre in Lancaster, situated in Lancaster City Centre, are teaming up with the theatres and Lancaster University, and there'll be a showcase in Lancaster at Lancaster University. A series of works beginning with some theatre stuff, an outdoor performance of Dr. Blood's old travelling show. Now that's on October 20th and 21st. The shows are held at 7:30 and 8:30 p.m. Now again, don't quote me, guys, because of course with this tighter restriction, I don't know if that'll still be going ahead. But you can get the information off the Lancaster Guardian or the Visitor as well. It's something to go and do, guys. Obviously, it's to help the theatres at the moment, which are obviously really struggling because they're not open. But it's outdoors, so it will be socially distanced. So I do hope it goes ahead because it will give you guys all something to do, and it might take your mind off things at the moment. But overall, the area is doing really well still. We've agreed plenty of sales and got plenty coming on. Long may it continue.
Yeah, I do hope that they are able to get those on because you're right. It is great if people can get out and do stuff at the moment, and theatre's always good for mental health and all that sort of thing. One thing I did want to touch on, sorry, and what I didn't mention was leading on from that first point, guys. Obviously, I mentioned I was showing people around from out the area, but even those within this area, people's preferences now are more, what's the right word, like honed in, simply because people now realise what they want when viewing a house, where I'm sure Howard will agree, and I'm sure Kevin will agree. When we used to do viewings, I would show maybe a couple or a family around, and they would view literally everything. They would go and see everything, whereas now people have got a more strategic list of what they want, which is good, really, because it saves a lot of time wasting, especially at this moment in time with the virtual tours and things. People either want huge gardens or at the moment, that's a good thing. So I'm hoping again after this, people will realise even more what they want, and the market will increase. Yeah, I agree. People know more about what they want, specifics, don't they? There are certain criteria that people want in a house more than I think ever. Doing this for a long time now. You're right. Same people would view 10, 15, 20 houses. One, they probably haven't got the time now because the things are selling that quickly, but people definitely know what they want. They definitely want a garden, they definitely want kitchen diners, they definitely want 2 reception rooms, definitely want 4 bedrooms, definitely there are definites, aren't there, that people are after, more specific. So it's great, and it's up to us to try and source properties for those people, and So I think we quite like the challenge, don't we? With people being a bit more specific with us. So that's good. Cheers for that, Matt. It's good to hear as well that seaside towns are benefiting as well. Obviously, it's pretty close to Howard's Blackpool there on the seaside, so fingers crossed that's doing all right as well. But certainly Lancaster and Morecambe appear to be doing quite well.
Can't go to Blackpool, the Scottish Prime Minister said. You can't go there.
You can't go there.
That's what she said. His name escapes. You know, yeah, she's blaming it on Blackpool.
Oh, right, okay. Of course she is.
Right.
Right, never mind.
Yeah.
Right, well,
Everything else, Lancashire.
I thought I'd just share with you the latest market data. Rather than just looking month on month this time, I thought I'd go since lockdown. You know, for quite a few months now, sort of 4 months since we came out of lockdown, and looking at going into another little bit potentially. Just sort of let you know how things are going on, and I'll share my screen with you, put a little presentation together. I hope you guys can see that there, Matt and Howard. So if you can, then everybody else should in theory be able to as well. So this is data that is June, July, August, September, October, for full October for 2019, but just to the 14th obviously of October for this month. So I'm going to separate both areas. So as you can see at the top there, we've got LA1, 2, 3 and 4. So we'll sort out those first, and then we'll come on to the PR1, 4 and 5 in a second for you, Howard. All right.
Okay.
So
yeah, no problem.
So new properties that came to the market 2019, 1,508. There was in those since June, and that's 1,354 up to the 14th. Okay.
Okay.
So it's down just over 10%. Now, if you look at sales though, so sales 9/11 2019, 11/27 so far since June. So that's up 24% almost sales within that period.
Is it to the end of October? I know you had a date there. Was that
End
the
of
end of October for last year?
Oh, end of October last year, so we're still 2 weeks short of the end of the month, and already it's 24% up. So it's, you know, it's going to go well above, climb massively in that. You know, potentially those new instructions that are 10% down, you know, that's going to creep closer as well. I'm pretty sure about that. Preston, Howard, you guys up there, 1,675 for the same period last year till the end of October. Only 1,215 so far. So it's quite a considerable way down. So 27% down in new instructions. I think we've been saying.
What was Lancaster down? Was it 22?
The new instructions was only 10% for Lancaster.
10. Oh my days.
Yeah.
Massive difference then, isn't it?
So it's a huge difference. So we'll just slide back through there. So yeah, huge difference in areas there. Sold. So 881 sold in the same period.
Right.
1,092.
Yeah.
So that is 20% up. Give or take a little bit.
Yeah.
So as you can see there, I just summarised it at the end. So 10% down in Lancaster for new instructions, but almost 24% up for souls. 28% down for new instructions in Preston, Howard, and 20% up.
It just shows you then. I say, sound like a broken record. We say every week, you know, the demand's there's not supply. And both accounts there are looking very similar, but Preston is like, it's getting a double whammy there. You know, there's going to be virtually nothing left. Everyone's selling, and it's massively down, nearly 30% down, which is, you know, it's crazy figures.
Yeah, it's just crazy, isn't it? You know, there's certainly the swing in Preston. There's obviously not as there's massive demand for selling in Preston like there is in Lancaster, but the confidence is obviously really low of people coming to the market. Which is surprising given how busy it is. Usually that would eventually drive up the listings, but it doesn't seem to have grabbed hold quite as much in Preston. But I think you've been in and out of lockdowns a bit more than Lancaster, so maybe that's got something to do with it.
Yeah, possibly so as well. I mean, you know, it's quite a large area. I know Lancaster is, but it's quite a large area. But it's I didn't expect it to be that
No.
different.
No.
But
Anyway,
thanks for doing that. I appreciate you doing that.
it's all right. So it's just interesting to know sort of where you stand. So as we're saying, sales, they're obviously there. If you want to sell your house, there is demand, massive demand there, as you can see in both of those areas. So it is a good time still to put your house on the market. Time is running out to make benefit of the stamp duty holiday, and there are things that you can do to sort of give you a little bit more time, which talk to your agent about. And as Howard mentioned before, it's about some of the legal paperwork and searches that you can do now rather than wait until you actually sell. So speak to your agent about those as well. And then also, like I said, the potential of another lockdown. Make sure we're on video and virtual tours if you haven't got them on your list already, and floor plans as well. Actually, I missed that one earlier. If you've not got a floor plan, not got a virtual tour, not got a video, if people aren't going to want to come through your door because of or can't come through your door because of a lockdown, then you're going to really struggle to get inquiries on your house. So again, if you want to discuss that, we're here. Howard, Matt, always there for a chat about it. And yeah, we'll see what happens next Friday. Once the lockdown's sort of kicked in, hasn't it? Then so might have a bit more information on sort of how we can do business next week, guys. All right, but at the moment it's positive. We're positive with the housing market. You guys should be too. Excellent. We'll leave it at that. Cheers for the week, guys, and we'll see you again.